in reality, it should be, we've got to take care of our mental health, and we need to beef that up, and we need to get people we need to get them where they need to be.
Yeah. I love that. My mom's a therapist, and so that's her daily work, right? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm not a therapist. I'm just
Yeah, but I mean, you are, right? Because exercise, the therapy of exercise, right? And like what that does chemically to your brain. It's amazing therapy. And
it is. And that's what I discovered at a young age.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what was wrong with my mom. I didn't know what I know now.
Yeah.
And so I just knew that's not what I wanted. And so I was like, what is the solution? And I remember when I was working out, my endorphins, I just felt so happy afterwards. And it gave me a sense of control, I think, in the chaotic world.
Which is important, right? It's important in the healing of trauma, we have to assert control, that we have authority to control our world.
Yeah. And it does give you some empowerment. It's hugely empowering.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan,
you worked with Jackie Chan?
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jackie Chan. It's so one of the things, as a musician is I also do scoring. And this was, in one of the larger, like we talked about forced surrender. So I had been kind of into this forced surrender where I was pushing so hard with my band. I thought we were going to, take over the world. And what happened is everything fell apart. I got sick, and I couldn't get out of bed one day. And so for the next 8 months, I began to, I was getting worse and worse and worse. So I, finally got to some doctors, started doing some testing. And although they couldn't figure out what was wrong, it was clear that my thyroid was symptomatic. I was living in a house that had this mold that we discovered. And so in getting out of it, and basically I had to stop all things, have to stop music, have to stop work. And all I'm focusing on is eating food and sleeping, really. And so in this period, eating and sleeping is all good and well, but it doesn't pay the bills. And so, this time was going on, and like my savings was just going, and a friend of mine that was a film director, we'd been friends for, I don't know, probably about 5 years at that time. And I'd always wanted to work with him, but I'm not going to be pushy and be like, hey, I want to work with you. And so he was up at our place doing some filming for a shoot up in Montana. And his assistant director just was like, oh, is Andrew going to do the music for this? Kind of as a sort of a just an aside. And I was like, I'd love to. And suddenly he was like, well, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, well, do you want to? So anyway, we scored this commercial for the local football team in Montana. And then that just led to our working relationship. And then, we had this Arnold Schwarzenegger commercial and then a Jackie Chan one. He works with an organization called Wildlife, which is all about, saving the planet and animals. And so they do celebrity campaigns. So Jackie's campaign was about saving pangolins from poachers. And so that's the...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did the music for that. And it's just another spot.
My youngest we used to watch all of Jackie's movies. And
wow. It's amazing that he's still, like, you look at, I don't know if you watched that video, but like the video that I have of him, that commercial, like I don't know how old he is now, but he still just moves with the set. Like you watch him, like, that's impressive.
It was always impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was funny. We really, really enjoyed watching him so much. And of course, all of Arnold's movies, and I am the fitness person. So, and my husband does a lot of Arnold impersonations.
Nice. Yeah. Arnold was, when I was 7, I think is when I was probably way too young to be watching Commando, but I was at my friend's house and that was the first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I saw. And it just, right there, it was like, man, I love this guy. And so he became sort of a hero of mine. And so it was pretty awesome to like start working, like doing a commercial with him.
Yeah. If it tastes good, spit it out. Right. Yeah. And all kinds of fun things. Like he just had so many sayings and things that he would say. So
Yeah.
So that's cool. So you worked with them and you've done a lot. What did you like? I mean, what was it like speaking to audiences, and what did you get out of that?
I'll tell you, the speaking thing, it's been actually probably one of the, it's tied into this. I said I'm at one of the bigger flat lines, and it's that experience is tied into that. So I had joined this coaching program, a very high end like mastermind for speaking and whatnot. And before that, I'd sort of had tried speaking in the past, but kind of gave up on it. I put it to rest. And this program sort of had like the promise, right, that it was going to get you on more and more stages. And that just was far, like I actually ended up getting kicked out of this mastermind because I challenged the leader of it. And, it was, an incredibly challenging experience. So the speaking side of things has really not gone at all like I anticipated.
Okay. What did
Yeah.
you think it was going to be like?
Well, so what I thought is like, all right, I'm a good performer. I can speak. I can, it's not hard for me to do, right? I know I can do it. And so I looked at it. I think my expectation was, well, clearly I'm going to be the best person in this group. So it just makes sense that I'm going to get these speaking gigs. But I believed that I wanted it to be easy, right? I wanted to believe that if I just paid this money, I knew I was talented, this person would give me the road, so to speak, the golden road to walk on. And that would help make things easier, right? And when it didn't turn out to be that, those sort of financial investments and all that, that's sort of coming now where it's hitting down. It's like that hammer is smacking down, and I'm going to have to correct course, right? I'm going to have to make like you said, doesn't matter what decision I make, but I'm making a decision. So yeah, that's been it was a challenging part of the last like year and a half for sure.
Well, it can be a lesson out there for sure, because there's a lot of people that promise a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing is that you have everything within you that you need to go where you need to go. And you can find people that maybe have been there, done that could help you. But you got to be a little bit careful about who you're giving your trust and your money to, because there's a lot of snake oil being sold out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's, I think if there's one takeaway from it is the lesson that I knew before I ever even joined it is follow your intuition. And my intuition, my gut feeling told me this person is not really trustworthy. Like, don't trust them. But because I wanted the results so bad, I was like, well,
right. And you were looking at the dream of what you wanted.
Right.
And you were hoping they were going to provide what they promised. But
right.
It's kind of like a campaign promise in a way, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And think what you have to look at is, and what I found, because we've also went down that path. My husband and I were like, oh my gosh, is this just a sales thing for the bigger sales thing? It's like they got us in for this amount, and this is what they really want. And are they going to really deliver that? Because they didn't deliver this. You know what I'm saying? So you're seeing that they're not delivering what they promised. So I think the biggest lesson there is to look at whoever it is that you're thinking about having help you, and are they already adding value? Because if they're not already adding value, test it out a little bit. Because if they're not adding value at a small level, I doubt they're going to give it to you at a greater level either.
That's valuable too. Yeah, that's like, right. Yeah, because
that's the big lesson.
You watch their free content, and in the free content, they're delivering so much value. You're just like, holy cow, this is insane. So yeah.
Right. Those are the people you want in your wheelhouse. And just, are they really sincere?
Yeah.
Are they really sincere? Do they really want to help people, or do they just want to make money? I think you can do both, but you don't want to be around the people that's all they see. They see you and they see dollar signs. Because I used to work in a gym, which was it became all about numbers, and people didn't matter. And that's when I decided to leave that gym. And I didn't want to be about that. I cared about people, and I wanted to help people. And so that's why this is what I do now. What I'm doing now is my own